Hey folks, John here, and I just realized that we are this coming period doing a wine which is actually one of my favorites. And as a matter of fact, when I told Ron Appel, the president of Ex-Sell, that we were doing McManis, he goes, "That's my favorite." This is a wine that is so many people's favorite. It's unbelievable. I've enjoyed this in the summer with barbecues. I've enjoyed it with meat, lamb, stuff. It's just one of those wines that is just so versatile and just so darn good. People will ask, should I allow this to age? Should I put this in my cellar? Answer should be, this wine is so good, don't bother. It's always going to be available because it's one of the vintage's essentials. So it's always available in the vintages sections. And as a matter of fact, it is the top selling Cabernet Sauvignon under $20 in vintages. So crowd pleaser, a winner, and a product that's just fantastic. So should I cellar it? No. Go home and drink it. Have it with dinner, bring it to a party, enjoy it with friends, whatever you have to do. Just enjoy it. Don't over-intellectualize this wine. It's not going to last forever and ever because you're going to want to drink it. If you take a sip, you're going to want to drink the bottle with friends and family and then share it. And that's a really important component to these tastings. And I always call it, and I'm sorry, I got a bit of a problem with my throat here, but one of the things about these tastings that's best is that it allows us to tell a story in a convincing manner, because really we're great persuaders, which isn't difficult when we have a product that's this great. And it allows you to give the consumer who's coming to taste a story based on your knowledge of the product and of the vineyard and of the taste profile and of the family behind it and all that sort of thing. And what you want them to do is not just take a bottle and bring it home and enjoy it, but enjoy it with friends or bring it as a gift, and you can have them tell the story. And if that happens, as you know, one person tells 10 people, 10 people tell 10 people, then all of a sudden, it's exponential growth. So a great tasting is when that is accomplished. Now, I'm going to give you a couple of what they call talking points. We have our notes, and our notes, I'm going to ask you really importantly to go to the sort of, the highlighted McManis family vineyards to get some of the history and understand about the winery. But these notes are pretty clear and simple, but it's a crowd pleaser. That's definitely. This is a wine that will never offend anyone. It's not something that you have to explain why someone should like it, because as soon as they taste it, they're going to love it. Taste it with food, even better. Even just with the pretzel that you're going to be serving with it. And the only thing I would make sure to tell your client who's in front of you is that if they're taking this to a dinner, it's a dinner, this is for hearty fare, whether it's vegetarian hearty fare, meat, or whatever sauces, this can live up and stand up to anything. It's not sweet. It has a lot of, it's full-bodied and great, but it's only 4 grams per liter of sugar, which makes it extra dry. So big, bold, and beautiful, extra dry. Now, some of the things that I just touched upon before is how we all know how many wines are at the LCBO. We see how many wines are at vintages. To achieve that position of the #1 Cabernet Sauvignon under $20 is unbelievable. So kudos to the wine. It's family owned. Ron and Jamie McManis are the owners. Their children, Tanya and Justin, work in the winery, and it's the 5th generation farming this region. So they know what they're doing. It's nice to have the legacy and all that stuff, but over 5 generations, they know what they're doing. When we talk about sort of the Canadian industry, and you see how new it is, it's maybe 1 or 2 generations. And they're already really figuring out what's good, what's not, where to grow things and all that stuff. So imagine 5th generation, they've really got it buttoned down. The farm is over 2,700 acres of vineyards. It's in Lodi, River Junction, Appalachians. That's kind of south of Sacramento. sort of going towards Bakersfield. Really hot weather, great growing. A lot of people say that whole region pretty much feeds America because so many things are grown there. It's great soil because of the mountains. You're coming down off the mountains, and so the soil has a lot of minerals and a lot to offer the vines. And so it's a great growing region and a lot of sun, which of course gives it this body that's so amazing. Most of the McManis vineyard grapes are sold to other wineries throughout California. So what they do is they don't sell the best and just use what's left over for their own. It's usually the other way around with wine. So what they do is they sell everything until they just have the best left over. And guess what? It's with that best that they make the McManis collection of wines, of the family wines. So this is made of the best of 2,700 acres. And so that's incredible. The state-of-the-art winery was built in 1998 and expanded as demand has grown. The winery was designed for high-quality, small lot production, which means that instead of just sort of making, it's small lots assembled together to make great wine. Most of the McManis grapes production are sold, which I've said, and all the estate vineyards are certified sustainable under the Lodi Rules program, the most stringent program in California. So that's incredible. So it may not say it's organic or whatever, but sustainable just means it's a philosophy of farming. And to do it is difficult because there's always things that are kind of trying to come play, mites and bugs and stuff like that. So when it's sustainable, you know that it's being grown properly, it's being cared for properly, and that translates into an amazing wine. I brought up before aging McManis wines. No need. It's available. Sure, keep a few bottles in case some friends show up and have some in your cellar, in your wine rack or whatever. But this is a wine to enjoy today, now, and have fun with it. There's also other products that are coming out. There's going to be the Chardonnay as well as the Zinfandel. Those are going to be sort of sporadic throughout the year, but they're going to come, and then eventually we're going to do some tastings alongside of those in stores that have both. But again, Cabernet Sauvignon, vintage is essential, meaning it's always available year-round in the vintages section. The others were going to come on sort of on the spot market, so every once in a while when they sell out, more will come in, but sometimes it takes a little while before you get them. A few other things. McManis is just starting a bit of an advertising program, but it's kind of was grown, the notoriety's been grown organically, meaning that it's not been through ads, it's not through pizzazz and razzmatazz and ads and billboards and all that stuff. You may see some of those, which is just kind of giving back to the winery and getting some greater exposure, but it was built on word of mouth. Because, as I said, when you taste this wine, other people are going to want to share it with you because you're going to talk about it and how great it is. So, that just like when I said that with Ron, when I told him we were doing McManis, he said, unbelievable. I love that wine. That's my go-to wine. So imagine if we can get a few more people making this their go-to wine. Again, the growth will just be exponential. You're going to have this little poster board, conversation starters. What do you say? When a wine's popularity grows by word of mouth, you know it's something special. So that's what we're doing. It's about word of mouth. What do you think? We don't have them right now, but eventually within this period, there's going to be some buttons. And I kind of look like almost large Smarties. And people are going to be able to pick which one they like. And it's going to be one that kind of suits what they find in the wine. So there's going to be different terminology and stuff like that. So a lot of fun program, a little interactive, a little bit special and more fun. And some animation around the tasting bar. So you're going to have this poster, which we're going to ask you to put out along with your, there's going to be this brochure. And this is something that I always love to have because it's a takeaway. And again, just like the wine, it's quality, it's nicely done. So give this to people and then have them, share it and remember the wine that they are drinking, because they'll have this and they can also put some notes in the back, or they can also be reminded at home and give it to a friend. So now, sorry for the sniffle, what we're going to do is we're going to taste. It's the part I was waiting for. It's probably why I have a problem with my throat. Lovely. Again, smooth, fruity, depth. Nothing really to say wrong. Sometimes wines like this, 13.5 alcohol, they'll be oaky or whatever. But the one thing that's nice about McManis wines is like all the edges are beveled. It's like velvet on the edges. So even though you have a strong grape like Cabernet Sauvignon, and then it's probably seen quite a bit of oak, the edges are all beveled. So it's a real crowd pleaser because there's nothing offensive, nothing you're going to say, I've got to wait on this. It's just a great drinking wine. I always suggest, again, I'll just pour a little more to show you. I always suggest you pour to this height, because what this does is it gives 2 sips. The first sip, depending on what the clients in front of you was having, eating before, gum, whatever, they spit it out or whatever. The first one kind of clears. They get a taste. And so the first is the first impression. The second one is the confirmation that this is indeed a fantastic wine. So enjoy the tasting, have fun with this, and share it, and make sure you go, in the back of the store, as we always say you should, try it first if you haven't tried it already, because you will become a convert and you will want to be sharing it with the people in front of you. Cheers, have a great tasting.